Hi, what I want you to know is that this is the third part of an instructional series, the fun part for me, an instructional series on how to play Origins: How We Became Human. This part is going to be, I'm going to show you how to set up the game, and then I'm going to go through a playthrough and try to, I'm not gonna make you watch me play the whole game, but I'll film some different snapshots of the game, and not still photos, but little parts of the game, just so you can kind of see how all the rules that I belabored earlier fit together to make a cohesive game. So let's go do that. Alright, so here we have the game almost set up. I've left Blue's setup not set up so that you can see the setup for Blue as it happens, but I'll just talk about everything else and how I set it up, and then I'll go into in-depth setup for Blue, because most of the setup involves setting up cubes for a given player. So that's kind of the part you need to know, or you might be helpful to watch me do it. So we have our maps here. There's two halves to the maps. You set them up right there. You can kind of, it's like a puzzle, a two-piece puzzle. So I think you can figure out how to put them together. I've placed some of the cubes where they begin, and I'll explain that in a little bit. And then we have our climate cards here on their color side face up. I like to put them in a column with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6 card at the bottom. That's helpful to me, but you can put them in any order, it doesn't matter. And then we have our era cards over here. Era 1, you're going to be drawing from Era 1 deck, 2 the 2 deck, and 3 the 3 deck. I have my sequence of play set out just for fun. And then we have our demographies. I arranged them in alphabetical order. You don't need to do that. You do need to know, though, that the A is going to start first. Like all the other players, A starts with 24 cubes. They aren't going to stay in this pile, however. We have to put them where they go to start. And they all have a place. So let's put them there. First, we're going to place them on this brain map card. We're going to place them on all the black circles. All right, so there's going to be 3 for A there. Some of them, as you can see, have 4 on their brain map. Then we can place them on our innovation track here. And if you notice, some of the innovation track numbers have stars. Those are the ones that don't get cubes. All the other ones without stars get cubes. And it's so nice not to have to explain what this track is anymore. Same with the population track. Some of them have stars. The other ones don't have stars. We're going to put them on the ones without stars. There we go. Now let's go up to our infrastructure tracks. As you can see, the other players have already done. They put 1 cube on each in the starting space, and we're going to do that as well. And so now we have just 1 cube left. This is going to be our starting map unit. Now how we find, you just kind of have to search for the little, there's a little circle with the name of a proto-human on it. Blue happens to be there, Archaic Homo sapiens. So we're going to look. They're not in the New World. No one starts in the New World. They're somewhere in the Old World. Where's the Archaic Homo sapiens? Oh, right here. All right. And this is kind of handy for you if you haven't played the game before. You can see where every color is supposed to start. I'll let you take a look at that. Memorize it. Could keep you from having to do any searching later on. Go. All right. Now I chose to show you the setup for Blue because I happen to be wearing a blue shirt today. It also just so happens that Blue gets to go first. So I may be focusing on Blue's turns, but I may also show you other players' turns. I haven't really decided yet. So Blue, it's going to start with the innovation actions, right? And Blue's actions are determined by which parts of its brain are uncovered. And here we have the limbic system and the hindbrain, the hand and the acorn in the case of the Archaic Homo sapien. That allows us to draw a card. That's the only thing Blue can do with that right now. because blue does not have any linguistic areas open and also doesn't have any elders. Otherwise, could try to domesticate this giraffe. Blue just had a turn, and here's the short version. I had a lot of stuff on camera of me mulling over Blue's decisions, but I'm gonna try and go quicker than that. So Blue drew this card as its innovation action. It could only draw a card because of the symbols it has uncovered. So that allows for only novel behavior at this point, which allows it to draw a card. Drew a card, drew this card, then went to resolve catastrophes. There was no catastrophes. All right, then played cards. Chose to play the right-hand side, although the left-hand side would have given it this maritime increase, which would have allowed it to go over straits. Alright, went with the right hand side so it could have the fecundity decrease and get the extra innovation action next turn. So moved a cube from here down. That cube, it then didn't have to make a stability roll, right? Because it was in the smiley face zone. And then decided to do a population increase just to get more units on the board. Debated on where to go. Kind of kicked itself for not taking the maritime increase because it would have been nice to go into Asia. Debated putting either black or white into slavery. Could have done that right away if it wanted to. Decided not to, which, thinking of how blue is, it might decide to do that later. And decided instead to go into West Africa in hopes of maybe having an opportunity to domesticate one of these plants in the future. There aren't a lot of plants on the map, and, plants are nice. It's very lucky for green that it's an ice age. Green is going to do a population increase right here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go to, is in the treasured Auroch cow hex. This Auroch cow is the easiest animal to domesticate in the early game, and so it's very nice to have that space. Good move for green, got out of this part of the world and into Asia proper. If the Ice Age had left, green could be trapped down here for quite a bit of the game. All right, red's turn. Drew its first public card of the game. Kind of skipped over black, and I'm not gonna be talking about what I'm skipping over anymore. So everyone's going to tie on this because no one has any elders to bid. So the card is going to go to A, because A is at the top here. Right, that goes there. And then red's going to have to remember that during resolve catastrophes, a die is going to have to be rolled to change the climate. Resolve catastrophes. Red on its turn also just drew another card. All right, we got a 1, so that's going to flip this right here to desert. So let's look to see if anyone's sitting on a yellow space, because then they're going to lose that unit. Nobody is. Currently, however, these yellow spaces are all impassable. Because he's possessive, red was just going to hang on to this card here, so nobody could unlock their language area. Decided to play it, though, because if he didn't, green would kind of have the monopoly currently on these cards, or else red would have to risk chaos. The reason why is because red, if he didn't do the fecundity decrease here, would have needed to take a cube off of his population track to do a population increase and send a cube over to kill green's cube, because he's possessive of the animals. So since he did a fecundity decrease, he can then just go ahead and take the cube off its population track and blop it out there. It's going to loses its extra innovation action, but hasn't given up these nice animals, this yak or this Auroch cow. Blue's turn again, and blue drew another public card. I'm going to try to just show you turns when something kind of new comes up so you can see how it works. Again, an auction happens. This time it goes to H. It's kind of unfortunate for H, or it would have been. So H gets an administrative thing. So that's going to actually maybe kind of help in this part of the game, because green can expand without having to worry about chaos as much. You don't want to go into chaos yet until at least you've uncovered your brain and gone into a golden age. You really only want to go into chaos when you're in a golden age. So if green had any elders, however, green would have had to lose one, which would have been bad, and there was no choice in it. We're going to change climate again, though. 3. So that's going to change it back. And that desert was very brief. It's White's turn, and White's going to get the first Elder of the game right now. Is going to play this side of the Hide Side Scrapers, the Stein. Can play it because that area is clear on its brain. And this is a rather nice card for White. If White were more possessive, he might wait until he got another card to bury it, because it not only does it give you an Elder, but it also clears off the neocortex of White, which is too bad because White would have had 2 innovation actions otherwise. But White is set to do some domestication. Too bad White is in an area where all the animals have negatives. So really, the negatives would bring it closer to this 1, which you need to have an energy of 1 in order to do the domestication. So that's a problem. You want to get a 4 or higher. And so Burchell's zebra is not a good one to domesticate. He could get it. He has a 1 in 3 chance of getting the black rhino, but if you only have, 1 chance per turn, 1 in 3 is not very good. Green is copying the card. This happens a lot in this game where someone will get this nice card that kind of opens up these options. So in this case, you've opened up the Elder, and then it just kind of ripples through all the players. Green's going to try and stop that, however, by playing this card on top of that card. Saved this card last turn, which was a smart move. So it's Black's turn to move, and I just wanted to point out that Black can't really move anywhere. Black would like to kind of get out of the whole European area. But anywhere Black goes, it's going to run into starvation, and that's a part of the game. So if your footprint's 1, you can't be in the same hex with anybody, or else you starve. So the early part of the game can really be about almost an area control sort of thing. So Black would like to go over to this side, right? But if Black is here, it's going to starve out because of Green. So Black could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, starve out there, starve out from Blue. So Black's pretty much stuck where it is. Alrighty, it's Blue's turn, and since Blue is the most culturally superior color there is, Blue is going to take a guest worker from White right there. They're neighbors. Our Hobbit is ready to domesticate, and so we'll do that right now. First thing that's going to happen is an Elder expenditure. It's going to move down there, and it's going to try and domesticate the Auroch cow, which means if the roll totals to anything higher than a 4, the cow is then hers. So that's going to mean 2 or higher. Anything but a 1 here. And it's a 5, so that's going to give us 6. That does a couple of things. So you see there's several there. So Green's going to go up on the footprint track as well as the energy track, and Green gets a disease. Alright, so Green's going to lose its Elder and get 2 fecundity increases. However, there's no room for this one. So I think it just stays how it is. Green has a Metropolis now, the only player who does. Green decided to give the disease to Red as well. So Red lost Red's Elder and got 2 fecundity increases. Again, Red could not do both of them, so it just stayed as it was. Flip side of Green's success, Black just tried a population action. Rolled a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Nicked failure, too ferocious. So I think that means that the animal cannot... Oh, if less than 5 players are playing, then that animal can no longer be domesticated. But since it's 5 players, the Mouflon sheep remains. So Blue just finished its turn right here. You might think that Blue should starve, but Blue does not starve because Blue got a Metropolis. Not because it got a Metropolis, because it domesticated a draft animal and now has a footprint of 2. 2 cubes, they can both survive. Green is about to go into Air 2, and I thought you might like to see it. Here's how the board's been looking. Green made it into the New World. Can't really go anywhere, though. It's trapped by this ice. Yeah, that's pretty much how things are looking. White's kind of trapped in Southern Africa. Red is alone right there. There we go. All right, so I'm going to play this card. That clears off green's final language space, Wernicke's area in this case. That's going to flip the card and place green in a dark age, right like that. Then green is going to have to make a stability roll. Because of this, if there's a 1, green is going to go into chaos. And the stability roll is not because green changed eras, it's because that's just where we are right now. Stability roll in the turn order, or the phase order. Ooh, it was almost a 1, but it is a 6, so green is fine. Green can finish its turn, and I think that will end up this video. It ended up being longer than I thought, but I figure I can divide it with an era 1 video, and then the other eras I think I can get into one video.